Hello. So, what we're doing for the last 2 weeks of the year, since we're not sure how busy everyone is and we didn't want to interrupt your holiday schedule, we picked out two of our favorite episodes from the past almost 4 years that we've been doing this show. We've been doing this show for 3.5 years now.
Crazy.
And one of our favorite episodes that you might not have heard because, we've been doing it so long that some of you are newer and you might not have heard this one. And one of our favorite ones is the Unsolved Christmas Mysteries, which I think is very fitting. We're talking murder, we're talking kidnapping, and we're talking spontaneous internal combustion, which I always thought was fake until I read all these stories.
Which it could still be fake, but we read a bunch of stories.
We read a bunch of stories, and they had factual names, and it sounded legit.
Sounds legit. They talk about things like they only found their shoes, so we're like, hey, that's legit.
Their feet. Anyway, listen to the episode. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas as well.
And all the other holidays.
Yeah, sure.
The Hanukkahs. How many free trial subscriptions end up costing you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars after you forget to cancel them? Oh my God.
Every time.
I used to do this thing back when I was like 20 years old to make some extra money. There's a site where you can sign up for free trials and they'll give you like kickbacks. They give you like $5 to sign up for a trial, but then if you forget to cancel, then which they're banking on, then you're just stuck in this like $20 a month thing. So I would have to set all these alarms to like make sure that I cancel in time because you have to be subscribed for at least the 5 days, but not anything after that. And anyway, they of course get you, but that's how they get you, is that they're willing to pay you even to sign up knowing that you'll probably forget.
That's so funny. It's so dark.
I know, because most people forget. Like how many subscription services did you sign up for during the pandemic?
I don't even know.
Streaming services,
every one of them,
grocery services,
and they all renew without your consent because that's part of the I agree.
That's
when you
part
click
of
the
the
I
business
agree
model.
Yeah,
but Truebill makes it so that you can easily see all of those subscriptions and you can cancel the ones that you need anymore, that you don't use anymore. And it's just so nifty to have that there, to like see it all laid out, and you're like, oh yeah, I definitely don't use that. I don't use that. I had this one meditation app on my phone for years that I forgot about, and it was on an annual subscription. And every time it renewed, I'd be like, damn it, not next time, because I don't want to cancel it now. I just paid for another year. So I'm like, okay, this time next year, I'll definitely cancel.
See, the I forgot about is why Truebill is so valuable, because most people save like $700 plus.
On average, $720 is saved by Truebill customers on average.
So don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/STDTY. Go right now, Truebill.com/STDTY. It could save you thousands a year.
Thousands. Truebill.com/STDTY. Do it.
Love this service. Love it.
Hello, welcome back to Shit They Don't Tell You. I'm Nikki Limo.
Hey, what's up? It's Iceman, and I'm sitting. If you are watching us on YouTube, you can see that I'm next to this incense machine, which is pretty cool.
Oh, it's not an incense machine. It's called a diffuser. It diffuses essential oils, but
it sure looks like an incense machine to me. They should call it that.
It really sets the tone.
What the hell's a diffuser mean anyway? That sounds like a Star Trek thing.
It's
like a Star Trek engine part.
I guess Star Trek is science sci-fi.
But I'm just saying, call it an incense machine. That's what it is. That's literally what it is.
All right, this isn't about diffusing.
Okay.
This is about some unsolved mysteries. So back in our Halloween episode, we did an unsolved mystery, the spookiest unsolved mysteries that I could find. And you guys loved it and requested that we do more. So just so happens I'm fascinated by unsolved mysteries. It's my freaking jam. So are conspiracy theories. I love all that shit. Anything that makes me feel kind of like weirded out before bedtime. I'm a masochist, I guess.
I love the vibe.
Yes.
As I think we all have come to understand.
So we're in the holiday season, and I thought I would look up some spooky unsolved mysteries that happened during Christmas time. Are you ready, Steve?
I'm ready.
Okay. Also, disclaimer. I might be leaving some details out of these stories because I just researched them like last night.
And can you, real quickly, can we clarify for the layman's out there? When you say these happen during Christmas time, you're talking that happens between September and January 1st, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, these actually happened like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just like really close to Christmas time. Okay. So if I miss any details, you can feel free to leave in the comments. But I thought these particular stories were pretty creepy, and they both involve Christmas time and fire.
Oh,
so,
shit.
To start, we are going to start with the mysterious case of the missing Sodder children.
Sodder children?
Sodder children.
They were unfortunately named.
Yeah.
That's a scary name already.
Then that's just the beginning of unfortunate things that happened to them.
Wow.
So, on the night before Christmas, 1945. So, I don't know, 60-something years,
wow.
70 years ago.
Okay.
George and Jenny Sodder and 9 of their 10 children went to sleep. One son was away in the army. Around 1 a.m., a fire broke out. George and Jenny and 4 of their children escaped, but the other 5 were never seen again. So, originally... so like this, they went to sleep Christmas Eve, they opened some presents, went to bed, and this fire happened. They managed to get like most of their kids out, or like half of their kids out, but then the 5 that were left in there, they thought like obviously they burned in the fire.
They had 10 kids?
Yeah, they had
Jesus.
10 children. Okay, so
They're probably happy to lose 5.
Yeah, well, they're not.
Got
you
it.
would
Sorry.
think.
Okay.
I know you would think logically.
Yeah, I was just putting myself
They'd be
in that
pretty
headspace.
happy about it. But no, they were actually very upset. So on the night of the fire, what happened was Jenny went to sleep, and she got a strange phone call before she went to bed. So she had gone downstairs, she got woken up by it, but then she noticed all the lights were left on downstairs, and that's where the kids were sleeping. So she's like, okay, whatever. They're excited about Christmas.
The lights?
So,
Do they have lights?
yeah, 1945.
I don't fucking know.
Motherfucker, where do you think electricity was born?
I don't know. You just said, I get that they had phones, but I'm like, they had lights. All right, shit.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Good to know.
Got some lights.
I'm just putting myself in the setting, so it helps me, because I was picturing candles on the wall.
Yeah, well, picture 1945.
Okay.
There's lights with electricity.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So Jenny goes up to bed, and she goes to sleep. She's woken up about an hour later with this like loud bang on the roof, and then she hears this like rolling sound, and then that happens first, and then she awakes to a bunch of smoke filling up the room. So she's like, holy shit, our house is on fire. So she like grabs her kids, grabs her husband, they run outside, but the husband wants to go save the other kids who share, the 5 kids share 2 bedrooms, and he wants to go back in there and save the children, but the fire is like too much. Oh, sorry, the kids are upstairs. I'm the worst at this. Okay, so
This is going really well.
Yeah.
No, can I just real quickly say, how terrifying is it on Christmas Eve, there's no more exciting noise you could ever hear than a bang on your roof.
Right.
Because
Santa.
you think it's going to be Santa.
Yeah.
And then a fucking fire breaks out. That's crazy.
Yeah. So George wants to save his kids, and he goes outside, and he usually has a ladder that can reach the 2nd story window. But that ladder is mysteriously missing. And then he's like, shit, I don't know. What am I going to do without my ladder? I'm going to take my 2 coal trucks, because he has some coal trucks. And,
wait, what the hell is a cold truck?
Well, it's a truck that holds coal. And
a coal truck.
Coal truck, yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
It is probably cold there too. It's Christmas time.
Okay.
So he wants to go back it up against the house, and then he can stand on there and get to possibly the 2nd story window. But the trucks that were just working perfectly fine the day before are mysteriously not working. So the house ends up burning down. They try to alert the fire department. They have kind of like a system in place where Jenny told her friend that the house is burning down, that person tried to call the fire department, couldn't get through. She calls another friend that's closer to the fire department. They try to call the fire department, but couldn't get through. So Jenny actually ends up going all the way to the fire department, which is only 2.5 miles away.
That's a long way, though, at night. In the middle of the night.
And they tell the fire people, like, hey, our house is burning down. They don't show up for 8 hours.
Well, it is Christmas.
It is Christmas. But no reason.
And they probably heard that this guy's got 2 trucks full of coal, and they're like, well, he's not the best exactly on the list.
I don't know if there was coal in the trucks, but it was
Well, they're
trucks.
coal trucks, aren't they?
Yeah, but I don't know if there's coal in there or if he dumped them already.
Got it.
All right. So George and Jenny assumed that 5 of their children were dead, but a brief search of the grounds on Christmas Day turned up with no trace of remains. So Chief Morris suggested that the blaze had been hot enough to completely cremate the bodies, and they basically had an inspector comb the rubble and attributed the fire to faulty wiring. George covered the basement which was the only thing that was left standing with 5 feet of dirt, and wanted to preserve the site as like a memorial. The coroner's office issued 5 death certificates just before the new year and attributed the causes to fire or suffocation. So at this point, they're like, fuck, our kids are dead. Here's a memorial. But then they started having these second thoughts, like, this is kind of weird. There were a series of weird events that happened leading up to this fire that make us think that maybe our kids aren't dead and maybe that they got kidnapped instead.
What?
Yeah. So here's a couple things that happened.
The ladder was missing. That's strange.
That's strange, right? And the cars wouldn't start?
Right.
Okay, that's weird. But so a couple months before the fire happened, there was a stranger who appeared at their home, and they were asking about doing some hauling work for them. But then they were like, oh, we don't have any work, whatever.
What's hauling work?
Like being able to haul stuff. Like hauling.
Thank you.
I don't know. What do you want? What do you want?
No, it's just really a helpful
He
account.
wanted to haul stuff for
That's
them.
a helpful account.
Okay,
Yeah.
like maybe coal or something. I don't know. I don't know him. He wanted some work.
Got it.
Okay, so he was turned down. Then there was, around that same time, there was a guy that came to their house trying to sell them life insurance. And when George, the father, was like, I don't think we need life insurance
It's like,
right
what the
now.
hell do I need that for?
Yeah. The guy got really mad, and he was like, your goddamn house is going up in smoke and your children are going to be destroyed.
What?
Yeah.
And it took him 5 days to remember this shit?
This guy was
As
a
soon as my
psycho.
house lights on fire, I'm like, this motherfucker who threatened me.
Oh, he also said you're going to be paid for the dirty remarks you have been making about Mussolini. So
What? Wait, what? Nikki, what are you talking about?
George and Jenny.
He was a Mussolini critic?
Yes. So
Where is this?
George
Where does
and
this
Jenny
take place?
had both in America, but
Okay.
they had both immigrated here from Italy.
Okay.
Okay, so just to give some background on George Sodder, he was born in Giorgio Soddu in Tula, Sardinia in 1895.
What does that mean?
I
Is that
feel
a
like
location?
it's Italy. I'm really bad at geography.
Okay. Same.
But I'm gonna go with Italy because they're talking about him being Italian.
There you go.
Okay, so he immigrated to the United States in 1908 when he was 13. An older brother who accompanied him to Ellis Island immediately returned to Italy, leaving George on his own. He found work on the Pennsylvania railroads, carrying water and supplies to the laborers, and after a few years moved to Smithers, West Virginia. Smart and ambitious, he first worked as a driver and then launched his own trucking company, hauling dirt for construction and later freight and coal. One day, he walked into a local store called the Music Box and met the owner's daughter, Jenny Cipriani, who had come over from Italy when she was 3. So they got married and had 10 children between 1923 and 1943. And then they settled in Fayetteville, West Virginia, an Appalachian town with a small but active Italian immigrant community.
I love that he met her, and she's from Italy, and he's from Barilla, Manila, Farina, Ferrira.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, man.
I mean, I don't even know if is that Italy, Sardinia? I don't know.
I don't know.
Someone fill me
Just
in.
put Italy.
Yeah.
Help us out.
Listen, they're Italian. They're Italians, okay?
Thank you.
And he had a lot of thoughts on Mussolini.
Prego.
Okay, so, and it had this Italian community, like an Italian immigration community. And George was like really known for popping off about politics and like basically anything he had a problem with, you knew about it. He
had opinions.
Yeah, he had opinions. He'd get into arguments with the community sometimes, especially over Mussolini.
He had a couple hot takes about Mussolini.
Yeah, but they were also like really respected. They were a really respected family. So, you know, they had people in both corners.
Okay.
Right? So this guy that was trying to sell them life insurance, he was like, your house is going to go up in flames.
Jesus.
And this is like your payback for what you said about Mussolini. And George was like used to getting into heated arguments. So he was just like, whatever, that guy's a weirdo. And he kind of just brushed it off. Then the older Sodder sons also remembered another chilling fact is that they remembered when the younger kids were coming home from school, there was a man that was parked along U.S. Highway 21 intently watching the younger kids as they came home from school. So these are all weird things that were happening.
Yeah, what a weird fucking bunch of events at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Also, a person... That guy that asked for hauling work, when he came to the house, he had pointed to the wire box and been like, that might start a fire someday.
What?
Yeah. It was just weird things like that. Even though
He's
George...
like, yeah, by the way, your house looks quite flammable.
Yeah, but George had just had the wire box checked by the electrical department, and they said it was totally fine. So, what the fuck?
And then
is
the
this
milkman came over and he said, "No, I don't like you, Sodders. I don't like you, Sodders, one bit."
Yep. Basically, that's what it feels like happened.
It feels like a murder mystery, and everyone had a reason for them to be dead.
Yeah. And so as they're collecting all of these odd moments, a telephone repairman told the Sodders that their lines appeared to have been cut, not burned. And they realized that
their lines to what? Their TV lines?
I think they're wiring.
Or their telephone lines?
Well, the wiring in their house.
Okay.
Yeah. So they realized that the fire had been electrical, the result of faulty wiring, as the official reported stated, then the power would have been dead. So how do you explain how Jenny saw all the lights being on downstairs when she went to bed? See? A witness came forward claiming he saw a man at the fire scene taking a black and tackle used for removing car engines. So that could be the reason why George's trucks refused to start. One day, while the family was visiting the site, Sylvia also found a hard rubber object in the yard, and Jenny recalled hearing, remember that hard thud on the roof?
Yes.
And the rolling sound? So George was like, oh, it was napalm. It was a pineapple bomb, the type that was used in warfare.
Wow.
That's what he thinks happened, how the fire got started. Also, an employee at the crematorium informed her that the bones still remain after bodies are burned for 2 hours at almost 3,000 degrees. Their house was destroyed in 45 minutes, and there were no remains left.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that there's 5 bodies not accounted for at all.
Yeah, no remains at all.
It was all cremation.
0. Yeah, plus it takes a long time for bodies to get cremated. This was only 45 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah. So then after they were like, whoa, our kids might not be dead. They started putting up notices missing kids, and they started getting phone calls coming in of people claiming to have seen the kids.
Well, that happens anytime you put up a missing anything. But
True.
Yeah.
So a woman claimed to have seen the missing children peering from a passenger car while the fire was in progress.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they think what happened was someone that the kids know showed up at the door and was like, hey, there's a fire, come on, I'll take you somewhere safe, and maybe kidnapped them.
But this was in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah.
So the kids just wake up, take off their jammies, get regular clothes on.
I think they just fled the house. I think
Wow.
they went with whoever picked them up. So anyway, a woman.
I think people would notice if they're dressed in jammies on a train.
Let me get to that.
Okay.
So another woman operating a tourist stop between Fayetteville and Charleston, some 50 miles west, said she saw the children the morning after the fire. She said, I served them breakfast. There was a car with a Florida license plate on the tourist court. And then basically the children were accompanied by 2 women and 2 men of Italian extraction. I do not remember the exact date. However, the entire party did register at the hotel and stayed in a large room with several beds. They registered about midnight. I tried to talk to the children in a friendly manner, but the men appeared hostile and refused to allow me to talk to these children. One of the men looked at me in a hostile manner. He turned around and began talking rapidly in Italian. Immediately, the whole party stopped talking to me. I sensed that I was being frozen out, so I said nothing more. They left early the next morning. So there were accounts of this stuff happening.
Enough said. You had me at they had a Florida license plate.
Yeah.
These people are shady.
Then later, I don't know if it was so the family never gave up on trying to find these children.
Wow.
And a couple years later, or maybe it was a year later, George saw a picture of some school children in New York City, and he swears up and down it was one of his daughters. So he actually went to New York City to try to talk to this quote unquote parents of that daughter, and they refused to talk to him.
Well, I can understand why. If somebody came up to me and were like, hey, I want to talk. I think that's my kid. Your kid's my kid.
Yeah, but
just a refusal?
Just a straight up refusal.
But that doesn't mean guilt, though.
I know, but isn't it weird? If someone was like, hey, I want to talk to you about Franklin, or I want to talk to you about your cat, I would be like, okay, what do you got to say?
I'd be like, get the fuck away from my cat. I honestly would. I'd be like, what do you want to talk to my cat for?
I hear people out, though, if they have an emergency tone in their voice.
Okay.
I don't know what George said.
No, it's interesting, though.
Maybe he came at an attacking way. We don't know. But
he was obsessed enough to be scouring newspapers and things for pictures of his children, right?
Right, yeah.
Right. So yeah, he could have come at it aggressively.
There was also there's also been almost a memorial billboard up that's like, these 5 children were missing. It's been 30 years. You know, it's like
Wow.
been in that town for decades.
Wow.
And just in case anyone has any leads. They offered like a $5,000 reward to anyone that would come up with like information, but that ran dry. And then they upped the reward to like $10,000. And that's when they got like a few leads, but every lead ran dry. So they still haven't been able to find any of those kids. There's one kid that's still alive. Well, not kid anymore, but she was 2 at the time. She has vivid memories of this night, of like her father screaming at the house and everything.
And she's the one who lived. She's one of the ones who lived and was still with the dad,
yeah, was
obviously.
with the parents.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she's like told her kids and her grandkids, and they all still are involved in trying to solve this mystery of where the people went. The biggest theory, and this is what I kind of touched on, is that because there were like these threats against the family, and like this family was still respected in the community, that maybe someone on the Sodder side, like that were like they liked the Sodders, knew that this attack was going to happen, and they tried to save the children and then protect their identities.
But no communication at all? It's a heck of a protection thing.
I know. You're never allowed to see your kids again, so what does it matter if they're dead or alive if you never get to see them again? Yeah.
Wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the missing case of the Sodder children.
Did the 5 kids get to split the rest of the kids' presents for Christmas?
Yeah, they did. So they got bigger presents.
Oh, that's a lot more
But
presents.
they also had to like give out rewards for the information.
Oh, damn. It's kind of a wash.
They're kind of getting drained money-wise.
Got it.
Yeah, there was also like 20 years after the fire, Jenny went to get the mail and found an envelope addressed only to her. It was postmarked in Kentucky, but it had no return address. Inside was a photo of a man in his mid-20s. On its flip side, a cryptic handwritten note read, "Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie." And she and George couldn't deny the resemblance of their son, Louis, who was 9 at the time of the fire.
So he anonymously sent them a picture of himself? Just like saying what up kind of thing?
Yeah, it was like postmarked into Kentucky.
See, that's what I'm interested in is, so a lot of these kids obviously had their facilities. They knew who they were. They knew where they lived, like that kind of stuff. They're old enough, like 9 years old, you know who you are, where you live.
Yeah.
So it's very curious that there's been no contact whatsoever if these kids like were still just around.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's creepy.
Yeah. So Sylvia, the one that's still left, she's 69 years old, and she doesn't believe her siblings perished in the fire. And then they're still trying to like solve it on their websites and stuff.
Dude, Christmas must be a doozy for Sylvia.
I know, right?
Right?
Knowing you lost half of your family.
Like
but then
night?
she didn't really get to know them either.
Well, you knew them if you're like a couple of years old. Well, I guess she's
2 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And Jenny kind of went crazy after George died. She like erected a fence around her property and like started adding rooms to her home, like building layer upon layer between her and the outside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she wore only black exclusively as a sign of mourning, and did so until she died.
I mean, it would have been more productive if she got obsessed with fireproofing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe she did. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
She could have fireproofed every single wall. Yeah, and some of the grandchildren have their own theories. Like, they were like, maybe the local mafia had tried to recruit George, and then George declined. Or they tried to extort money from him, and he refused. Or and then the other one was like the children were kidnapped by someone they knew.
Right.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't exactly admit to owing money to the mob or whatever.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then they really think that like if the third one was true, that it was someone that they knew, that they were just trying to protect the identities.
And he never gave up. The dad never gave up looking for the kids.
No.
And the mom survived as well?
The mom survived too, but like the dad died first, so she was just like depressed. He died in 1968, and she didn't die till 1989. So like after he died, she just like wore all black and started building all these layers to her house.
A true old maid. She's like to stereotype.
Yeah. Pretty.
What do they call this case?
The missing case of the Sodder children.
It's not. It just doesn't have that ring. That ring to it.
Different. I mean, I'm calling it that, but
yeah.
Go ahead and workshop it. The title of this article is "The Children Who Went Up in Smoke."
That's better. That's way better.
Yeah.
I need some more Christmas though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. All right. Well, you want to take a break because the next two are kind of in the same vein.
Like poorly branded Christmas mysteries?
Yes.
Love
No. I mean, like the next two are like similar stories.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas this one's kind of like, this was different.
Got it. Well, yeah, we're going to take a break.
And when we come back, get ready for some internal human combustion.
What?
Yeah. Don't you want to come back now?
Internal human combustion?
Yeah.
And not like someone got chucked on a Yule log or anything?
Nope.
Wow. Well, we'll be right back.
How many free trial subscriptions end up costing you hundreds, if not thousands
All
of
of
dollars after you forget to cancel them? Oh my God.
Every time.
I used to do this thing back when I was like 20 years old to make some extra money. There's a site where you can sign up for free trials and they'll give you like kickbacks. They give you like $5 to sign up for a trial, but then if you forget to cancel, then they're banking on, then you're just stuck in this like $20 a month thing. So I would have to set all these alarms to like make sure that I cancel in time because you have to be subscribed for at least the 5 days, but not anything after that. And anyway, they of course get you, but that's how they get you, is that they're willing to pay you even to sign up knowing that you'll probably forget.
That's so funny. It's so dark.
I know, because most people forget. Like how many subscription services did you sign up for during the pandemic?
I
Like
don't even know.
streaming services,
Every one of them.
grocery services.
And they all renew without your consent because that's part of the I agree.
That's
when you
part
click
of
the
the
I
business
agree
model.
Yeah.
But Truebill makes it so that you can easily see all of those subscriptions and you can cancel the ones that you need anymore, that you don't use anymore. And it's just so nifty to have that there, to like see it all laid out and you're like, oh yeah, I definitely don't use that. I don't use that. I had this one meditation app on my phone for years that I forgot about, and it was on an annual subscription. And every time it renewed, I'd be like, damn it, not next time, because I don't want to cancel it now. I just paid for another year. So I'm like, okay, this time next year, I'll definitely cancel.
See, the I forgot about is why Truebill is so valuable, because most people save like $700 plus.
On average, $720 is saved by Truebill customers on average.
So don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/STDTY. Go right now, Truebill.com/STDTY. It could save you thousands a year.
Thousands. Truebill.com/STDTY. Do it.
Love this service. Love it.
And we're back. And I think you might have wanted to hear about spontaneous internal human combustion.
I do, but very quickly, I would like to, those of you who are watching on YouTube, I would like to have the room billow with smoke briefly.
Ooh.
Oh, look, our incense machine's going crazy. It's billowing.
Well, that is very fitting to spontaneous internal human combustion.
Thank you.
Billowing smoke. All right. So this case takes place also on Christmas, but in 1885. A farmhand named John Larson spent Christmas with his employers, Patrick and Matilda Rooney, an elderly couple who lived just outside of Seneca, Illinois. They shared several drinks before Larson retired for the evening and went upstairs to bed. Sometime during the night, he underwent a coughing fit and had trouble breathing, but soon drifted back to sleep. When Larson woke up on Christmas morning, traces of soot were on his pillow. Larson went downstairs and was shocked to find Patrick dead in his bedroom. Matilda was nowhere to be found. Later that day, Larson wandered into the kitchen and found a large blackened hole in the floor. It rested alongside what appeared to be the charred remains of a human foot.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just a human
You just see
foot.
a hole in the ground and you see like smoky shoes?
Yeah, like you know those cartoons? I picture those like Bugs Bunny cartoons.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, but then like a human foot is left.
Like he was wearing like a top hat and monocle because it's 1885, and you just see a charred ass top hat, monocle, and two pairs of smoky shoes.
He was a farmhand, so I don't know if he had a top hat or a monocle.
Farmhands could have dressed well.
I think that was more of an upper class thing.
But maybe he dressed well.
He might have.
Or maybe he found that hat.
It was also Christmas morning. I don't know if they put on their top hats
for Christmas morning.
I don't
church.
think that's how it worked.
Okay.
I don't know if he even went to church, but yeah. So a human foot. Imagine that. So a pile of ash was inside the hole. And that was all that was left of Matilda Rooney. It seemed that Matilda was the victim of spontaneous human combustion, which caused her entire body to catch fire and burn to ashes.
Is this a thing?
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
Yes.
But is it a thing that's ever been confirmed by anything?
So this article, this case made me look up other cases of spontaneous human combustion,
Yes.
which I will get to next.
Oh my God.
And we will cover theories on what
When
causes
Michael
that.
Jackson's that got set on fire during the Pepsi commercial, does that
Different.
qualify?
That's different.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was caused by a candle. It wasn't internal.
But it was very spontaneous.
But it wasn't internal.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So she was the victim of spontaneous human combustion, which caused her entire body to catch fire and burn to ashes. The estimated temperature of that fire that consumed her was was 1,400 degrees Celsius, which is 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. But there were no other signs of fire damage other than that spot. It was later determined that Patrick had died of smoke inhalation. So her husband died of smoke inhalation. This explains.
Wait, this is the cat who he had just. They just found
No.
his
Remember
nub?
the couple? The couple went to bed.
Okay.
So both of the couple, though they're dead.
Wow.
The two people in the couple. This guy was like their employee that went to bed in a different room.
Right.
Yeah. So the employee is finding these dead bodies. The one guy is dead from smoke inhalation. The other one is a pile of ashes with just a foot remaining.
But there's no fire in the house. There's just a smoky spot.
Yeah, just a smoky spot.
Jesus.
So this explained Larson's coughing fit during the night. He was spared from death because he slept behind a closed door on the second floor. Even though there was speculation that Larson could have been murdered, even there was speculation that Larson could have murdered Matilda, so there's speculation that maybe this employee murdered her.
Okay.
It seemed impossible for him to have started such a blazing fire without damaging the rest of the house. The entire rest of the house, totally fine.
Were there any eyewitnesses?
No.
Did anyone yell? Or did anyone hear any yelling or anything? Like, I just invented a new type of hot sauce. You got to come try it.
No, but a prominent local legend was that she suffered divine retribution for daring to drink so much on Christmas Eve.
What is 1885?
Just a lesson for you all out there thinking about drinking too much on Christmas Eve.
God was way more punishing back then. He got way cooler. I think we all can agree on that.
I'm thinking that maybe this is why people thought Zeus killed people with lightning bolts.
Of course.
You know, like if people were just spontaneously combusting.
Yeah. Or it's not like they knew what the hell happened with a fire back then. They're like, Jesus, the whole house set on fire.
Yeah, well, no, the whole house didn't set on fire.
No, but I'm talking about, like, they would even say that, like, if a house caught on fire, it was Zeus or some shit. Or, like, fucking the war god and stuff like that.
Yeah, well.
So no matter what happened, like, including you get shit on by a bird, they're like, dude, he pissed off the fucking bird shit god.
I still think that.
That's what I think.
I believe in karma.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I can't even talk to you about fantasy game until it's over and done with. I can't even be like, hey, I think you're gonna do well. She's like, don't do that. You're cursing me.
Yeah.
Don't say
you
that.
jinx my team, like when you do shit like that. Whenever Steve has done shit like that, been like, you're definitely gonna win your fantasy game. I lose.
That's not true.
Okay.
I said you're definitely gonna win last week.
When
and
there's
you won.
a pattern that evolves.
Shut the fuck up.
No, I didn't lose last week because I had to reverse your jinx hex.
Oh my God, woman. That's what I'm saying. I get you into this cool hobby so that we can talk about it, have fun.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
can't even talk to you about it during the games
Well,
because you go fucking insane and tell me not to say anything.
Guess what? I'm in second place and
Because
you're
of
in
jinx gods.
Guess who's in second place and guess who's in 11th place?
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, maybe
I would like to move back onto the
I
subject.
think you cursed your own self with the jinx hexes that you put.
I would like to get back on topic, please.
All right. Just want to put on the record.
Christmas spontaneous combustion.
I kill it at fantasy motherfucking
I would like to
football.
that to be off the record.
And my husband is going to try to make fun of me about
Mark,
my
can we
methods.
please cut this?
My husband just wants to make fun of me about my methods of
We're cutting this.
how
Thank you,
I'm
Mark.
so dominating at fantasy
Mark gave me the
football.
big old thumbs up, so I know I can count on him. I always can.
Oh, that's good. That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. So this story, I was like, holy shit. I thought that was like a fable. Like, I didn't know people actually spontaneously internally combusted.
So I've heard of this because I've
heard of it
watched a
before,
lot
too.
of trash television, including the Travel America channel or whatever the hell
Did you
it is.
believe it when you heard it?
Well, my mom sure did, so I was
I always
like,
thought it was like
interesting.
hysteria. You know how when they thought that like women had orgasms, like they were hysteric or whatever? Do you know any of that
No.
stuff? Like there was like a
They thought
whole...
women were harpies for having orgasms?
I don't know what's a harpy.
Like a banshee? Like they're
No,
losing it?
they thought they were hysteric. Like there's a mass hysteria. There was an era of hysteria in women that happened. Like, you never heard of any of this?
No, but I get it because it rhymes. It sounds like a
Okay,
thing.
well, basically, like, I don't even know. I mean, that's a whole nother episode. But I'm just saying that, like, I thought it was a myth.
Yeah.
It wasn't something real that happened.
The female orgasm.
It was like almost placebo or whatever. Why these women were going hysteric or whatever. But I thought spontaneous human combustion was also along that lines of like there was definitely another thing that happened, like maybe people were drinking gasoline back then by accident or something.
Right, for sure.
You know, like I thought there was some other cause to it. But turns out it's like kind of a crazy thing.
Yeah, man.
So there's been 200 cases of spontaneous human combustion.
32 cases?
200.
200?
Dating all the way back to the 1400s.
Were they drinking that Bacardi, the flammable Bacardi?
So the first case of spontaneous human combustion was a dude in Greece that went out drinking with his friends. He was kind of fat, and he went out drinking with his friends, and he spontaneously human combusted. Like, he just caught on fire, like burst into flames.
In front of them?
Yeah, but they all died too.
Oh, see, that's what always happens. Somebody spontaneously combusts alone.
There was a witness.
How come it never happens at like a fucking Leonard Skinner concert?
No, there was a witness because that's how we know that was the first case. There was probably other cases that of people doing it alone, but there were witnesses that saw that happen.
Okay.
And because bodies get cremated at such a high temperature.
Yes.
4,000
degrees. That's what you said.
No, 2,500 degrees.
2,500 degrees. That's what you said.
And it goes for hours. Anyone in the vicinity is like, you dead.
They're smoked.
You dead.
Wow.
Yeah. So this other case, I went on this like binge of like looking up spontaneous human combustion cases.
I can tell.
And I found this other case, and this was from like a BuzzFeed video that I watched of their Unsolved thing. They did a thing on another case, a completely different case from a lady named Mary Reeser. Mary Reeser took some sedatives. She was like an older lady. She took some sedatives, the type of sedatives that they had patients take to like calm themselves before they're going into a surgery.
Okay.
So she took some of those before bed, and it was just like to help her sleep. The next morning, the landlady noticed a trail of soot leading to Mary's apartment. She went to open the door, but the door was too hot to touch, like the door handle. It was too hot to touch. So she couldn't open the door. So she had some painters break in, and they found the cremated remains of Mary Reeser. All that was left was her skull, which had shrunk to the size of a coffee cup. How the fuck?
What?
We don't know. I don't know. How the fuck? Anyway, they found a few vertebrae, and then they found her foot that was completely intact in the shoe as if nothing happened.
Is there any correlation between this and Alan's?
Alan's?
Yeah.
What's that?
Like from outer space.
Oh, aliens.
Is there any correlation?
Sometimes you stretch it a little too far with the pronunciations.
No, I'm talking about like real Allens from outer space.
I was thinking of Allen wrenches or something. Yeah, but we'll get there.
Because like I'm thinking about a ray gun right now. I'm thinking about a disintegrator beam. Okay.
Well, let's get to theories
because
in a second.
Marvin the Martians, he would use a disintegrator beam.
I agree.
Okay.
Let's revisit this at the end.
Okay.
So, a shrunken head, a shrunken skull, some vertebrae, and a foot, like with the skin still on it. I don't know if you're like, you don't seem very surprised at all these feet being left behind.
There's always feet left behind. That's the thing about it.
Skin,
I think the disintegrator ray did that.
Okay, so like completely disintegrated over here, whole foot with the skin on there and everything in a shoe.
Was there like a little pyramid pile of soot?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's basically exactly Looney Tunes.
I know.
Wow.
Right. That's why I thought it was fake.
Truly impressive.
That's why I thought this shit was fake. Okay, so in the corner where the fire happened, the nearby walls were not damaged at all. The paint was not cracked. There were no burns or anything. But the upper walls and ceilings were blackened from soot and smoke. The lower half, not at all. Light switches, completely melted. Outlets down below, totally fine. There were some candles that were on the window, and they were completely melted, but their wicks were still standing upright like this. There was a stack of newspapers that were in the corner. Totally fine. Completely untouched. Didn't burn at all.
See, that's what blows my mind. I'm always like, what kind of kindling was around there?
Right. Nothing burned. Neighbors completely unaware of the fire even happened. And this was an apartment building. So like not even like another apartment was affected by this. Okay. So in order for a body to be cremated, it has to burn at 2,500 degrees for 3 to 4 hours. The surrounding area completely unaffected. That's fucking weird. In the corner where the fire, I already talked about that.
Do we know what? Because I know that you can get a temperature, and I know my little brother one time had a temperature of 104.7, which was very hot.
Yeah.
Do we know at what degree would your temperature have to be for you to set on flames flames?
I don't know. I don't know if it has to do with that. So let's.
But surely there's a temperature that's hot enough where you would be set onto flames.
Maybe. So don't get sick because it could happen to you.
Okay, I'm going to be very healthy now. I'm going to drink this water right here.
Yes, maybe throw away that monster.
Okay, it's gone.
Okay. So the firefighters came to the apartment, and they said the apartment was so hot they couldn't even stand it. So firefighters that fight fires were in an apartment being like, this shit's too hot. But there were no signs of smoldering anywhere, which is also really weird. So it was so hot that firefighters were like, this is weird, but then there's nothing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What are they doing to piss off the Allens, man?
I don't know. So experts and detectives were completely baffled because how could this fire be so hot and then not burn the entire apartment down? It's kind of crazy. And then in 30 plus, like more than 30 fire investigations, no one had ever seen a skull shrink like that. Skulls usually expand and explode in a fire.
Well, I saw some shrunken heads one time when I saw an South African documentary.
Was there aliens?
South American.
Were there aliens involved?
That was one of the theories.
Oh, okay.
Because the Mayan race mysteriously disappeared, and that a lot of people think that a lot of the
that they got abducted.
Yeah, that a lot of the alien races were doing that.
Well, that's a good unsolved for next time. But okay, don't you want to know about this Mary girl?
Very much.
Okay, so Mary, a couple things happened. So a witness that saw her through a window, she was seen smoking a cigarette before bed. Oh, by the way, she didn't go to bed. She was in a chair drinking, having like a nighttime cocktail before bedtime.
She's smoking a cigarette. So there's
she had
your
her
igniter.
She had her sedative. She was sitting in an armchair.
Okay.
And yeah, so she had a cigarette before bed. So FBI and investigators think she fell asleep smoking. Her cigarette fell. Her nightgown caught on fire. And then what happened was like the wick effect, which is like once the body was ignited, almost complete destruction occurred from its own fatty tissues.
Jesus.
So, because what's weird is like with internal combustion or spontaneous human combustion is that the body is made of 70% water. So like how the fuck does it catch on fire? But there are certain aspects of the body that can catch on fire, which
like the
is fatty tissue and methane gas.
Oh yeah, so she's a gassy girl.
And then alcohol. So some other theories that happened after this case started getting cracked. When the FBI was like, this is what happened, the cigarette did it. But some other theories came out. So a person called the detective and said, this is really dumb, but it said, a ball of fire came through the open window and hit her. I seen it happen.
Well, is that dumb though?
Could be aliens.
Because this shit's crazy. Yeah, it fucking could be that.
Okay. Another theory was that the fire was started on purpose with thermite bombs, napalm, kerosene, magnesium, and phosphorus.
All to kill one person in one place.
Right. And like that's what happened in the first one, and the whole house caught on fire.
Right.
The first story with the Sodder children.
Right.
But yeah, and those also would have left a distinctive smell. So that was ruled out.
Well, plus the first one, there was a bomb made out of pineapples, that's very rare.
It wasn't made out of pineapples. It was a type of grenade called a pineapple grenade.
Okay, well, you should have clarified that.
I know, I should have.
I was picturing a pineapple with a timer on it.
It kind of looks like a pineapple.
Okay.
Which is why they called it that. And then
Thank you for clarifying.
The last theory is spontaneous human combustion. And I talked a little bit about the first case, which was like that guy that went out drinking and then he exploded. And then there was like an article that came out in New Scientist magazine where biologist Brian Ford said in large concentration of acetate in the body may contribute to spontaneous human combustion. Acetone buildup happens from alcohol, diet, and diabetes.
And nail polish remover.
Sure.
But that's what that is. That's nail polish remover.
That's acetone.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I'm not a freaking scientist.
Wow, you have a computer in front of you. You look very
efficient. I do. I could Google it. You want that?
No, it's okay.
What's the difference between acetate and acetone? Want me to Google that?
I kind of do,
You're
yeah.
going to fuck up my Google history. That my Google is going to think I'm dumb.
No, Google's going to think that you're building a nail polish bomb.
Acetate versus acetone. Okay.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Acetone is a ketone that is commonly used in nail polish. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, that's what I said, acetone. Okay, that's commonly used as a nail polish remover and even as a paint stripper. Acetate is an anion. The fuck is an anion?
All right, let's move on.
Which can also be used to remove paint from surfaces and is commonly combined with molecules to form other useful substitutes.
So it's not the same thing.
Acetone is a flammable substance with a fruity smell.
But wasn't it cool that I kind of was close?
I mean, they're very similar, actually.
So I think that we shouldn't move on then, and we should talk about this.
Yeah. I think we should move on.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then people speculate that like maybe some aliens.
Wait, why is that stupid?
What's stupid?
I think like ruling out all eventualities is smart.
I don't think it's stupid,
but the way that you said that was very condescending.
Because there's no concrete evidence.
Well, right, but have you looked up ancient astronaut theory?
Yes.
So there's a lot of concrete evidence, actually.
Concrete evidence of other circumstances, maybe. But this woman getting hit with a ray gun?
I don't know what she did. I don't know who she was. I don't know what who she's involved
in the
with.
ancient alien things, are they just mostly building buildings? Like, who's getting hit by ray guns?
I don't know what ancient aliens is. I know what ancient astronaut theory is.
Okay. In the ancient astronaut theories, aren't they just like building the pyramids and stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so like no one's getting hit by ray guns.
I haven't gotten that deep into the seasons. They could have very well covered it.
I'm looking for some concrete evidence that people are getting hit by ray guns.
I'm going to get back to you.
Or a ball of fire that came through the window that somebody had seen it.
Well, but think about that. It could be a meteorite.
But a meteorite that only hits one person in a chair?
Very unlucky. Very unlucky.
And the other walls are not affected at all?
Nobody in this entire story, correct me if I'm wrong, has said that she's a lucky gal.
I think the fireball that he saw was actually her spontaneously combusting, and then it shot a fireball out the window. It was like vice versa.
Oh, shit.
You know, she actually was the fireball.
Wowzers.
Because it burned all the candles on the window.
Yeah, and you saw plastic switches and stuff, and the doorknob was hot as fuck.
Yeah.
Damn. Dude, this is a fascinating one. I remember when I was a kid watching, one of those shitty documentaries about like the spontaneous human combustion and about some lady in a rocking chair and how she like basically went up in flames.
Why are they always in chairs?
Right. They're always just chilling in chairs and they're always alone. And then, they just found her shoes basically. They always just find their shoes or like,
a foot that's intact completely.
Yeah, basically.
So like spontaneous human combustion is used to describe instances with when a human, either living or recently dead, seems to burst into flames. So I guess it could happen when you're dead too. Like you just burst into flames without an external source of ignition.
Jesus.
It is argued that spontaneous human combustion can be caused by an individual's behavior and habits, such as alcohol consumption, inner mechanisms of the body, or even acts of God or sorcery.
Well, yeah. I'm on that last one. I'm on that last case.
For sure. I know you are.
Yeah.
You don't like my jinx hexes in fantasy football, but you're on that last one.
Well, I think if I saw someone randomly burst into flames, I'm pretty into sorcery after that.
Yeah.
And not just random ass hexes because I said, I think that your tight end's going to have a good night tonight.
Wait, so you're into sorcery about spontaneous human combustion, but you don't care that like there's some actual science that's like acetate buildup in the body might lead to spontaneous human combustion?
No, I do care about that. That's tight.
Oh.
That's helpful.
So which is it then?
I think that alchemy is tied into a lot of science. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you think but like alcohol.
I don't think that science is mutually exclusive to magic. I think that that one causes the other and the other causes the other.
So what's your theory on this particular lady?
I think that it was her time of the month and she's really, she's really raging.
So she got so angry that she burst into flames?
Hey, I seen you get pretty close.
Did I burst into flames?
No, you did not.
I didn't even get near that temperature.
Right, but I mean, you were like a couple of degrees probably away.
I can get near that temperature if you want me to get near that temperature.
No, I don't want you to. I'm fine. We can move on. We can move on.
You let me know.
Can we talk about cold things?
You know what's crazy is that like alcohol was a factor in almost all of these stories.
That is crazy.
Yeah. It's like, dang, you really take a risk.
Right.
Really living life on the edge every time I have my drink at night.
Yeah, holy shit.
It was also that like, but this fatty tissue thing. So they found like the rug that was underneath her was like soaked in fatty tissue, like melted fatty tissue. They found a bunch.
Yeah, isn't that weird? That's very odd.
And so these people were also overweight. So if you're gonna drink, make sure you're a healthy BMI.
Be a skinny bitch.
Yeah.
Get that Truly. Get that White Claw.
Yeah.
Be a skinny ass bitch. Be a skinny legend.
Otherwise, your cells just like burst into flames.
Jesus.
I wonder if it's like building, like basically you're building a car bomb like inside your body.
Dude, and you want to know what's really going on the wild side now is having some Fireball.
True. Ooh.
I wonder if these chicks were having
Fireball. It would be
Fireball.
kind of a fun story if that's the way you died, though. They drank Fireball and then they actually set on fire. They actually exploded in a ball of fire.
Right? Fireball would try to buy your life rights to run commercials and shit.
Would you think if this happened like back in the 1400s when this happened, like I feel like if the first case was a woman and not a guy, they would have like blamed it on witches. Like that person was a witch.
I'm still trying to blame it on witches. And I'm in 2019.
Okay. True.
I'm just saying. I'm pretty fair.
Which is it though? Witches, aliens, or sorcerers?
I think that witches are ancient aliens.
I see. So you think they're all like one and the same?
Yeah, sure.
You think ancient aliens, witches, and everything's
same kind of thing. We're talking about the same kind of stuff, and also and the same as mermen as well.
My question was, say, I know a lot of drunk people that are fat. Why don't they always internally combust? Like, why does this happen?
It's a very rare phenomena.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you said 30 cases or some shit, 250 cases?
I said 200.
You said 250 cases?
No, I said 200.
So, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, that's not very common. There's billions of people in the earth.
Yeah, there's 7 billion people in the world.
And how many people have lived on the earth? Billions and billions and billions.
Right, yeah, we don't see reports of people just bursting into flame while walking down the street.
That's right.
No one has ever been seen, filmed, or videotaped, for example, even on a surveillance camera, suddenly bursting into flames. Well, it always happens to a single person left alone near or not near a source of ignition.
Right. Well, we only just got cameras recently.
That's true. But how come, why don't cows, dogs, elephants, birds, or other animals suddenly, randomly, and inexplicably explode in a ball of flames now and then?
Well, they already got to deal with plenty because they get attacked by Chupacabra.
Like, even if it's so rare, I feel like shouldn't there statistically be more cases
of spontaneous human combustion?
Yeah, that's what, I'm going back and forth because like I think this is crazy. Yeah, but then I'm also like, wait, but like if that's really what happened, like why is it so rare? And because the things that they're saying cause it, like I've seen other people do those things and they don't burn up in flames.
Correct. Nikki, can I ask you a question?
What?
Serious question. Do you believe in the Chupacabra?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. I have to research it.
The Chupacabra is a vampiric animal vampiric monster that attacks livestock.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think a coyote could do the job well enough. Like,
well, yeah, because it usually drains them of their blood.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's pretty weird.
Oh, so it's like a vampire animal?
It's like a vampiric animal.
Can't there be like a bat or something that does that?
Well, some think that the Chupacabra flies, but some are very skeptical about that. Well, there's a lot of Chupacabra believers like myself who think that the Chupacabra cannot fly. But then there's a lot of people in the community who believe that the Chupacabra can.
Why do you believe that it can't? Flight. Why do you believe it can't fly?
I don't think that the Chupacabra has access to any sort of flying machines.
Machines?
Or any sort of flying
wings?
Capabilities. I don't think that it can fly. No.
So you don't think it's a bat at all?
I just think that sounds ridiculous.
That it would be a bat?
Well, that it could fly.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you think it's like, do you think it slithers? Or you think it has 4 legs?
I think that it crawls.
Crawls?
Yeah.
Like on its knees?
I think that it can climb. But I don't think that it could fly. I think that sounds absurd.
So where does it live in your mind? Where does it live?
Usually in Mexico or in Latin
like
American
where?
countries.
Like trees, caves?
I think that they live in caves.
So all the caves of Latin American countries?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them.
There are a lot of them. I've been in the caves in Mexico. And they're pretty cool. I didn't see any chupacabras though.
Well, no shit. They're not exactly going to say, "Hi, I'm a chupacabra."
Why not?
Well, what are you talking about? They don't talk English.
Well, I didn't think I thought they were saying it in their language and you were translating it.
Oh, okay. No. Don't be ridiculous.
Like in Game of Thrones where they're speaking English and I have to have subtitles.
And if you're one of those people who thinks that Chupacabra can fly, you sound like a fucking idiot. Just so you know. I'm
still on this spontaneous human combustion thing. I'm sorry.
Well, it's pretty wild, but I have to say that because nobody's ever around for it, I think that because, okay, for example, we just recently started getting UFO footage. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
We actually got it confirmed from the government.
That's really
cool. For the first time in.
Do you think they're slowly like letting us know about it?
I
like
do.
They have to like slowly leak it to people.
That's what disclosure is, right? What is disclosure? Disclosure was always like the concept of disclosure was we're all going to get like there's going to be some fucking speech and it's like, hey, everybody, just so you know, we're NASA and we just want to say UFOs is real. It's 100% real. Mm-hmm. But that's not exactly how intelligence agencies do this stuff. They like to thread it through popular culture, and then they like to slowly confirm it and do document dumps on Friday nights.
So by the time like it's all information's out, like it's a completely different generation, and nobody could be blamed for
and look
what
just happened. Like fucking Joe Rogan just had this cat on who used to run like crazy dope missions for not Air Force. I think it was Air Force. And basically he's like the highest level person in government who's ever confirmed UFOs. And I just think that is basically tacit disclosure, but nobody's really talking about it, which is very fascinating. And you guys should look that up. The footage of it is fucking crazy.
Dude, I'm just looking at other cases of spontaneous human combustion.
I know you are, but I find that
because there was a woman. I wanted to know if anyone survived it.
Okay.
So there's a woman with severe burns that was fighting for her life in Germany after she reportedly burst into flames in an apparent case of the much debated apparent phenomenon.
But then she jumped into an above ground doughboy pool?
No, eyewitnesses described that a woman who was like in her 40s sat on a park bench and then her body was just randomly engulfed with fire in the town of Flensburg, which I think Germany.
Okay.
So this woman was rushed to the hospital after a passerby stopped the fire by beating away the flames with his jacket. Because most of these cases, the woman or the man falls asleep and then they combust, so they're asleep.
You would think you would be awoken.
Probably, but like if it was that spontaneous, maybe like you're awakened to like being burned.
I understand.
So they like investigated this as if it was a suicide attempt, though. But the eyewitness accounts of the incident have relaunched the debate because the apparent occurrence has never been proven, but has been linked to all the 200 incidents of spontaneous human combustion.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she didn't even like run and jump into a fountain or nothing. She was like had to be put out by a friendly person with a coat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, almost all these stories too, they feature the pictures feature a large pile of gray ash from which a pair of legs or like feet protrude, while nearby objects appear untouched by the inferno.
You know, I always judged people for many years, for having above ground doughboy pools, but now I'm kind of seeing the utility.
What do you call them? Doughboy pools?
A doughboy.
A doughboy?
You don't know what a doughboy pool is?
No.
They're those above ground pools that
they're just
trash
called.
aunt
That's
and
the
uncle
brand
get.
of it.
Well, that's just kind of what people call them, yeah. Because I think there used to be a brand called Doughboy. I just always knew them as doughboy pools. But basically, they're above ground pools, and then like
I don't think you'd have time to climb in there if you got spontaneously human combusted.
But if you're that, well, no, you could
because you have to climb in there.
No, you don't understand. So part of my white trash family in the Carolinas, they built a fucking deck around their doughboy pool.
Oh.
So you walk out from their backyard sliding door onto a deck, and then you can just get in their above ground pool because they built a deck around it.
So they basically built the ground above, so it's no longer an above ground pool.
Well, no, it's an above ground pool. They just built a deck around it, like it sinks in, but like it looks like a pain in the ass, basically.
Right.
It looks like, it looks unfortunate.
I'm saying they raised the ground basically by building that deck.
For sure.
So then it's no longer.
But they think that that's like a super tight feature.
I think it's tight. How do they clean those things? I'm wondering, because they don't have like the same type of sort of filtering system.
You kind of just have to get your swim trunks on and go in the pool, and then you just sort of brush the sides. I saw my cousin doing it.
It's like just to clear out like
I was
algae
like,
and stuff.
You lucky duck. With this, isn't this cool? We got our pool, and I'm like, dude, I was even young, and I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. Yeah.
There's so many cases of these. Wow.
250.
I implore you to explore them.
I will.
And wow, we are at pretty much the end of the episode.
Yes.
Do you have any other questions about these cases?
Has it ever happened unto an Eskimo?
I don't think so. A lot of these cases are in Europe.
Because I've heard that Eskimos are quite big. They're rotund.
And but they're in ice.
Well, right, but that's kind of the irony that I was going for.
Right, I know.
So do you know if anything's happened with that?
I don't think there's been Eskimos
that have spontaneously human combusted?
Yeah, but I don't know. They're so out in the middle of nowhere that
who would know?
And frankly, who would care?
True. That is really understated.
I mean,
Could not agree more. And if you're an Eskimo and you're listening, please stop. Thank you.
Please stop listening.
Yeah, we don't want you in our audience.
We love you, but hopefully I
don't love you.
Hopefully you're protected by all that ice.
Right now, the bit is that I don't love you, so I don't love you.
Yeah, got it. Well, I'm here to tell you.
And I'm the Iceman. It's kind of ironic.
Yeah, it is ironic.
So.
But I'm welcoming towards all Eskimo kind.
The Eskimans.
Yeah, the Eskimans. Final thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, man. I think that if you're about to spontaneously human combust, just do what I always do and just try to chill because it's the Iceman out.
I'm just distracted by these articles of people testing the theory of spontaneous human combustion.
How do they test it?
So they marinated abdominal tissue from pigs in acetone, or the highly flammable substance which the body produces in reaction to alcoholism, fat-free dieting, and diabetes, and then they set it alight. This was used to make the scale models of humans, which we clothed and set alight. They burned to ash within a half an hour, which is like that.
But
for the first time, a feasible cause of human combustion has been experimentally demonstrated.
But you said that they ignite them.
However, Mike Green, a retired professor of pathology, said he is inclined to side with the practical, mundane explanation for cases suspected to be spontaneous human combustion. There is a source of ignition somewhere, but because the body is so badly destroyed, the source cannot be found. So he believes that there's always a source of ignition.
I think he's probably right.
Maybe.
But I also think that experiment sucks because unless they're testing, does it burn the surrounding area? To me, that's the most fascinating part about human combustion.
Oh, true.
So that test completely certifiably sucks. Thank you.
They might have looked at that too.
Nah, I don't think they did.
They might have.
This is shit they don't tell you. Certifying that science experiment as sucks.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's 2 final thoughts for you.
Okay.
My final thought is like, holy shit. People can just internally combust spontaneously.
Yes, that's what I heard.
How is that a thing? My mind is blown that this is not just cartoon shit.
Think about how
dad
Think about how mad you've ever seen your dad get.
Yeah.
Where his veins popping out of his fucking forehead and shit.
He's lucky he's not fat.
See?
Because he drinks a lot.
So that's what I'm saying. So
But he is not fat.
So maybe just a little spark would have, you'd just been bearing his shoes.
It's alcohol plus fat-free dieting plus diabetes.
See? If something just set your dad over the edge, you could have just been bearing his shoes.
Nah, because he needs more fatty tissue. My dad's always been an athlete.
That's true.
So all these cases, you need fatty tissue. That's why they did it on like pig fat. You need like an excess of fatty tissue.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Okay. So if that's not motivation to exercise, I don't know what is. Get out there, do some laps. Please don't spontaneously
get burned to
human
death.
combust. And listen to the next episode of Should They Don't Tell You coming out next week. Please subscribe, rate us, all that stuff on iTunes, and all the other places that you might be listening. And let us know if there's any cases that you would like us to cover, because I'm just dipping my toes into this pool of unsolved mysteries that are fucking fascinating.
Call sign Iceman out.
Podcast at Nikki.Limo too, if you have questions. Nikki Limo, man, I'm a fire girl out.
Don't do it. You're off the squad.
Ooh, fire girl.
You're out of the squad.
I love this fire shit. I feel like it makes
fire
sense.
girl. Nobody, it doesn't stick.
I feel like it makes sense.
Iceman just sticks, right? Everyone, when they heard that's my call sign, it just stuck. Everyone's calling me Iceman now everywhere I go.
Is one of the traits of Iceman is that he like just lengthens the outros to infinity?
Could be part of his attributes.
All right, sick.
Yeah. It's a living legend.
Fire girl just goes, okay, we're done.
I don't think people like Fire Girl. I don't think it's really stuck.
Got it.
Like Iceman did.
She's not out to be popular.
Iceman couldn't help it. He just became popular.
She's the hero that the town deserves.